welcome to another point of view. We're going to be in episode 5 in our 5-part series where we're talking about global education. We're talking about globalism and the globalization of societies under a narrative. So what we started talking about, which is the overview, was episode 1. I'll have this listed below for you if you missed it. It's the broken and corrupt global education system. Next is episode 2, the New Age and the New World Order, dealing with Robert Mueller, some people say Mueller, and his World Core curriculum and his visions and dream for a global utopia. You have got to watch that one. He has a whole website dedicated to Good Morning World, and he talks about his visions for a new world order. Next is episode 3, Indoctrination of Our Children, definitely looking at UNESCO and Goal 4 in the United Nations for Sustainable Development. Episode 4 is so-called Education and the 2030 Agenda, and that's going to be going back to Agenda 21 and looking at the ins and outs of what they say and what it really means. That I would have you go back and look at. I have some videos in there that will be really helpful for you to see that they're changing your thought process. So brainwashing, which they admit to. Now we're going to be looking at artificial intelligence. Now, how is that going to darken our future? How's our future rolling in a way with AI? And what does that mean to us as far as people that are working in today's world? Will artificial intelligence take over some jobs? And you don't have to feed them, you don't have to pay them, right? They don't need anything sick pay, they don't need to go to the hospital, so they don't need insurance. So is that going to be a problem? What does that mean when you're making people addicted to their social media already, so their life force is in their hands, and what does that mean for the future of mankind? What does that mean for our children and our young adults that are really addicted to their devices? What does that mean when AI rolls out? And it's going to be easily engaged, right? And easily moving in that direction, so it won't be shocking because they've already been, putting on their little mask and being in a whole different world and creating this whole new world for themselves. That is, they call our media social media, but it's anti-social media, and it takes you away from your real true friends and family members and puts you in this computer module, right? So be really careful. So risk of artificial intelligence, automation spur job loss, privacy violations for sure, deepfakes when people look like they're saying something and they're not, algorithmic bias caused by bad data. Now, let's think about that. Is that already happening, right? So they're taking out what is true and leaving back the narrative. Socioeconomic inequalities. Is that going to, what's going on with that right now? Is it something they're going to heal or make worse? And, well, you're just going to have to see. Weaponizing automatization. Then there's a link here for you to see that as well. I'll put that below for you. So it says, is artificial intelligence a threat? Can it be helpful? Can it be both? Is it dangerous? Is it dark? What can the future of mankind look like when this is already taking over, right? It's globally, rapidly going in that direction. So it says the tech communities have long debated the threats posed by artificial intelligence, automation of jobs, the spread of fake news, and a dangerous arms race of AI-powered weaponry have been proposed as a few of the biggest dangers posed by AI. So let's see, what is this narrative coming from? So let's look at the video right here. It will amaze you how fast and how it's been planned out. So evil plans that are coming down, and mankind is brainwashed and they are addicted to their devices already. So they're already addicted to what they're watching and seeing, and the fake narratives, and they're shutting down the truth. So be really careful. Here's the video.
By 2030, the connections will start to be made between artificial intelligence and the human brain. we've been through a process of preparation, of getting people, first of all, stage one, addicted to technology that they hold, holdables, smartphones, tablets. That's basically achieved. You just have to walk through a city and you see the addiction. And they're targeting specifically the young. Why? Because the young of today and the children of today are going to be the adults when they want to bring this AI connection in full blown. For that to happen, they have to get people addicted to technology to the point where they'll accept it and where it's the most natural thing in the world. And it's happening in front of our eyes. The first stage is to get people addicted to technology to the point where, at the most extreme, they'll get up in the dead of night and they'll queue, stand in line outside an Apple store to get the first of the new technology. And what they want eventually, and not too distant into the future, is people basically lining up to be connected to AI. In the same way that people in Sweden now are having parties to celebrate someone being microchipped, right? All this connects. So the next stage, because the idea is to get in the body, the next stage is to get on the body. So we went from just holdables, we went to wearables, we went to Bluetooth and Google Glass and Apple Watches and all these other gadgets that go on the body now. Even what they call electronic tattoos that are basically microchips on the skin. And the next stage is to go in the body, which is already starting in places like Sweden. And people like Ray Kurzweil, who is a Google executive. Google and Facebook are really at the cutting edge of this stuff. People think it's a social media operation only or a search engine only. No. This whole Google group now, which is given the name Alphabet, are absolutely at the cutting edge of this whole AI technology. So is Amazon. Amazon's got contracts worth hundreds of millions of dollars with the CIA and the Pentagon for cloud services and stuff.
Yeah, they have massive data services.
Massive, yeah.
The consumers don't see.
So the idea is to take this on. And what Kurzweil is saying, and he claims an 80% success rate in his predictions of incoming technology and when it will come in. But, if you know when it's going to come in, then you've got a great chance of predicting it, haven't you? It's like, if you know when a stock market's going to fall because the people you are connected to are going to make it fall, well, you're going to get out just before it falls, and you're going to get in just before you know they're going to push it up. You don't have to be, Nostradamus if you know the script. This is the sales pitch, and this is why they're telling you. The sales pitch is, when we connect to artificial intelligence, we'll be superhuman. That's what the sales pitch is. That's his sales pitch.
Right.
That's going
Siri,
to be the sales pitch.
Alexa, all these things.
Yeah. What you've got is the idea that connect to AI and you'll become superhuman intelligent. No, you'll become subhuman intelligent. You'll become a vehicle for artificial intelligence. And whoever controls artificial intelligence will control the perceptions of every mind that it's connected to. If you're going to make a physical connection with AI, you're not going to do that on a mass scale until you've made a psychological connection. And there is a process, a psychological process, which is known as preemptive programming. Preemptive programming is this. You're going to usher in a world that is so different, so dramatically different to what anyone's been used to, that you're going to have an obvious resistance purely by the chasm of difference between the world people are used to and the world you're taking them into. A resistance that says, hold on a minute, you want to do what? What? So you prepare them for it through preemptive programming. You put out a stream of movies out of elite-controlled Hollywood, you put out television programs, you put out books, you put out all these things that basically portray the world you want to take people into. This is why you've seen so many movies about control by robots, control by technology, of synthetic humans. You have the dystopian society being portrayed and portrayed and portrayed. And what that's doing, it's making the subconscious, to an extent the conscious mind, familiar with the world you want to usher in. So when you literally start to bring it in, there's not that chasm that there would have been before. There is almost a familiarity with it because you prepared people by portraying it over and over again in movies. Another part of this psychological connection with artificial intelligence, so we'll accept the outcome that I've talked about, is these Alexas and these Echoes and these so-called office assistants or personal assistants. You start to interact with them as if they're human. And now they're bringing in internet-connected toys for kids, even little kids, and Barbie dolls that they can actually have conversations with artificial intelligence. They're now bringing in these robots that are these synthetic robots that are looking more and more like humans. A lot of them coming in from the East. And this is a whole psychological process of familiarizing us with artificial intelligence, to getting people to interact with it until it becomes the most natural thing in the world. By 2030, the connections will start to be made between artificial intelligence and the human brain. And the human brain will be connected to what he calls the cloud. Another name for this is the smart grid, basically to artificial intelligence. As time passes, artificial intelligence will be more and more of human thinking and human perception until basically it's the totality of human thinking and human perception, at which point we won't be human anymore in terms of the consciousness processes we are using today. We will be artificial intelligence. And this is the assimilation I'm talking about. If you are connecting the human mind to a grid, a global technological grid, that grid can be centrally controlled. It will take at the center point very, very few people to run it, and even fewer to decide how it's run. I say this to kids and anybody else: how long could you live without your smartphone? What is an alcoholic? What, an alcoholic is someone addicted to alcohol? Yeah. Why is he addicted to alcohol? Because he can't stop drinking it. But you can't put your phone down. And if you do, within a few minutes you pick it up again because you're addicted to it. So are you controlling that bit of technology in your hand, or is that controlling you? That's controlling you. Do you want your life controlled by a bit of technology? Do you want the rest of your life controlled by it? Or are you now going to go, I'm putting this down? If technology is going to be the servant rather than the governor, it has to serve the interests of humanity, and humanity does not have to serve it. We're in a situation now where humanity is serving technology. And it will be serving AI. Increasingly, it is serving AI in its algorithmic expression.
Wow, I hope that was helpful. That really plays it out in a synopsis. I mean, just in a little less than 10 minutes, you can see this plan coming together. If you really step back and look, all the pieces are coming together. All the puzzle pieces are coming together. So we're looking at globalism, starting with socialism into communism. Marxism, of course, is part of that, right, narrative. Underneath that, we're looking at things rolling out that are coming together, that are the World Core Curriculum when it started all these, all these years ago, back as far as 45, taking the Bible out of the school, what did that look like? And moving into UNESCO and into the Agenda 2030, used to be known as the 21st Agenda or Agenda 21, right? And then into artificial intelligence, of course, we're going to be talking about the World Economic Forum. That has a lot to do with it, the main players that are part of all this, and what's going on with artificial intelligence. So it says, are you prepared for the fourth industrial revolution? Okay, the global workforce is undergoing a massive technological shift that many are calling the fourth international revolution. According to a recent World Economic Forum report, we're bringing that in, nearly a third of the most important skill sets in 2025 will be comprised of technical skills not yet considered imperative to the job today, but it will. Here we go. How will your organization fill these critical roles with skill sets that are just beginning to emerge? In brief, you'll learn. And then it talks about the 10 technologies that will transform the global economy by 2025. Wow, see how fast we're going in that direction? The big scare, everything that's going along in the world. Okay, so what do we trust in? We're just going to follow the narrative. We're going to do whatever they say. We're going to be robots. We're going to be, programmed. We're going to be just going along to get along, to survive. Fear will cause you to do really irrational things. So step back and see what's really going on before you jump off the cliff, jump in the pool, and become a part of this global narrative. You do not want to be a part of it. What technology change means for the workforce of the future, right? And now, how you can prepare to meet the technological demands of the market in 2025 and beyond. Then it's going to tell you to read this, so I'm going to leave this here for you. It says, read and learn how to survive the future of technology and keys you need to learn. Keys to lead your organization through the fourth industrial revolution. I'll be very, very, very mindful of the things that are coming in a rapid rate, So what they say, when I used to teach Dressing for Success, and I used to also teach careers in technology. I worked for 2 design schools and information technology networking. I talked about designs and gaming and those kind of things for about 3 years, going through Inland Empire and Orange County, teaching job options for the future, right? I wasn't one of the ones that was doing these jobs, but I can explain them, right? So technology is 20 years in advance. So whatever we're seeing today, they have more set forth 20 years out. So they're slowly giving you the new technology that they have had for years. And they're diving and getting in line in the stores, and they're camping out into getting these new devices, right? And therefore they know what's coming up next. They know they're going to sell you more and sell you more and sell you more, right? And what kind of technology do they really have? You might be blown away. So that tells you a little bit about me. I have been a teacher for over 20 years. I've taught early childhood education. I am a site supervisor in early childhood education. I have worked in not only the private schools, but I have also worked in the public school and work now in a Christian private school. And if you don't think that all of this stuff is coming into the private school sects, along with it being in the public schools for all these years, and then it is blinding. Some schools are steadfast and they will stand on the globe, and the Christian schools will stand on the Word of God, unwavering. Not that they're perfect, because none of us are perfect, but they'll stay steadfast, and they're going to come after them to shut those schools down. They have to shut down the truth in order for you to grasp the lie and to walk into a new future that's led by technology and artificial intelligence. Is there a lot of things that artificial intelligence can help out with? Well, they have to show you the parts that are helpful, right? But what is the dark side? What can technology do? What can artificial intelligence do to mankind? Can it overthrow the system? Well, it is, right? So people are blind, brainwashed, and it's all done on purpose to prepare you for what's next. So I hope that everything you learned on this series will help you stand back and see the bigger picture. You'll put the puzzle pieces together and it'll all come together for you, and you'll wake up and see this great global reset, this mankind shifting into a new thought process and moving into an area of great darkness. You will not be part of the useful idiots, is that what they call you, because they'll use whatever you are capable of doing, right? And they're going to use mankind to set forth their goal for global dictatorship, right? And a global new world order. Be prepared. Read your Bible. Stay steadfast in the Word to understand the times and the seasons we're living in. And look up as your redemption draws near. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.